We will discuss agricultural price policy. Price policy plays a pioneer role in the economic development of a country. It is an important instrument for providing incentives to farmers for motivating them to go in for production oriented investment and technology. So these are the basic purpose of agriculture price policy. So to enhance the investment for production purpose and to encourage for technological upgradation. In a developing country like India, where majority of the population devotes two-thirds of its expenditure on food alone, and where majority of the population is engaged in agriculture sector, prices affect both income and consumption of the cultivators. The Government of India announces each year procurement spot prices for major agricultural commodities and organizes purchase operations through public agencies. So, Food Corporation of India purchases produce from the farmers on the behalf of Government of India. Need of agricultural price policy. Undoubtedly, violent fluctuations in agriculture prices have harmful results. For instance, a steep decline in the price of a particular crop in few years can inflict heavy losses on the growers of that crop. This will not only reduce the income but also dampen the spirit of to cultivate the same crop in the coming years. If this happens to be a staple food item of the people, supply will remain below the demand. This will force the government to fill the gap by restoring imports in case of no buffer stocks. If, on the other hand, prices of a particular crop increase rapidly in the particular period, then the consumer will definitely suffer. In case the price continuously increase for the particular crop, this can have disastrous effect on the sector of the economy. So this is the basic purpose of agriculture price policy. So the government, if there is a decrease in supply and demand of that produce or that particular commodity is higher, so what the government will do? Government will fulfill from the buffer stock if the government has, otherwise the government will import from other countries. Objectives of agricultural price policy. The objectives of agricultural price policy vary from country to country, depending on the place of agriculture in national economy. Generally, in developed countries, the major objective of price policy is to prevent drastic fall in agriculture income, while in developing economy, it is to increase the agricultural production. So, there the purpose of both developed countries and developing countries are different. Developed country just only to enhance the or to sustain the agricultural income of the farmers or the producers, or in developing country to maintain or to increase agricultural production. To ensure a relation between prices of food grains and agricultural goods. The foremost objective of agricultural price policy is to ensure the appropriate relationship between the prices of food grains and non-food grains and between the agricultural commodities, so that the terms of trade between these two sectors of the economy do not change sharply against one another. What does it mean? It means that to make a relation between the food and non-food items. Food items producing from the agriculture sector, non-food items from the other sectors of the economy, maybe manufacturing sector or the service sector. To watch interest of producers and consumers. To achieve the balance between the interest of producers and consumers, price policy should keep a close eye the fluctuations within maximum and minimum limits. Relation between prices of crops. The price policy should be such which may sustain the relationship between the prices of competing crops in order to fulfill the production targets in respect of different commodities in accordance to of its demand. To control seasonal fluctuations. Another object of price policy is to control cyclical and seasonal fluctuations of price rise to minimum extent. Integrate the price. The agricultural price policy should also aim to bring the greater integration of price between the various regions in the country so that regular flow of marketable surplus should be maintained and exports of farm products simultaneously regularly. Marketable surplus means the surplus produce which is sold in the market after consumption. Stabilize the general price. Stabilize the general price level. It should aim at increasing the public outlay to boost economic development in the country. Increase in production. The agricultural price should aim to raise the production of various commodities in the country. Therefore, it must keep a balance between output and input required by the cultivators. So, the output produced after using inputs and the availability of inputs just like seeds, fertilizers and other which are required for production, so that must be available. The important objectives of new agriculture price policy are given as facilities for all-round development in order to accelerate the price or pace of development. The new agricultural policy has set an objective to augment facilities for processing, marketing, storage, irrigation, along with development of horticulture, fisheries, biomass, livestock, sericulture, etc. for all-round development of agricultural sector. Means the agricultural sectors, the area of crops under agriculture sector that has been increased. Different sectors of agriculture were included in it. Infrastructural development. The new policy favored to make the provision for infrastructural development related to agriculture and thereby to infuse new dynamic through increased volume of public investment. Revising and strengthening cooperatives. The policy aims at reviving and strengthening cooperatives and local commodities or local communities for the development of agriculture sector. It is for that purpose because some farmers they have the small land holding. So if they will be get together and they will come to cooperative, so they will be able to get good price of their produce. Involvement of NGOs. The policy also aims at involving the non-government organizations on a large scale for the development of agricultural sector. Encouragement. The policy aims at providing necessary support, encouragement and thrust on farming activity so that rural people accept it as a noble and viable occupation, because the people they do feel that agriculture is a for subsistence purpose of agriculture only. Ghate ka sauda sometime we are using such word. So for encouragement for them so that they can use agriculture as a profession. Features of new agricultural policy. Raising capital formation. The new policy has undertaken a strategy to raise the rate of capital formation in agricultural sector. At the same is maintaining a decreasing trend from 18.7% of total gross capital formation in 1978-79 to only 9.5% in 1993-94. As the invisible resources are being diverted from agriculture to industry and sectors, the new policy thus introduces measures to recanalize available resources for productive investment in the sector. The policy will also focus to create a better investment climate for the farmers by introducing a favorable price and trade regime. Enhancing public investment. In order to raise the volume of public investment, new agricultural policy will take steps to create public investment for building supportive infrastructure for agriculture, conservation of water and use of alternative and renewable resources of energy for irrigation and other agricultural works have also been increased. Such enhancement of infrastructural investment will reduce the regional imbalances and generate more value added exportable surpluses. Raising the flow of capital. The policy will make an attempt to enhance the flow of credit to the agriculture sector. In this connection, the cooperative credit societies were engaged for such purpose. Improving agricultural marketing. An attempt will be made to improve the agricultural marketing system so that the agriculture produce through agro-processing, marketing and storage. Ensuring remunerative prices. The new policy has entrusted the government to undertake responsibility for ensuring remunerative prices of agriculture produce to the farming community by adopting necessary price support policy. Raising agro exports. The new policy has made an attempt for harnessing the comparative natural advantage in agricultural export of the country. The policy has laid special thrust on the exports of fruits, vegetables, flowers, poultry and livestock produce products so as to raise the share of agricultural exports. Land reforms. The new policy will make efforts to take land reforms measures for the interest of small and marginal farmers and raise agricultural output. Development of land. The policy has made an attempt to develop land permanently for cultivation to meet the growing needs of population in order to develop rain-fed area of the country. Watershed management schemes have been given much importance so as to bring integrated development of the land. Treating agriculture at par with industry. The steps for creating a positive trade and investment climate for agriculture and also to treat agriculture at par with industry for the purpose will be taken. Crop insurance schemes. Considering the problem of crop failure and high risk of instability in production, the policy strived for redesigning the crop and livestock insurance schemes in a comprehensive manner so that the farmers can recover their losses arising out of natural disasters. Evaluation of agricultural price policy. The draft agricultural policy envisages 3.5% annual growth in, in, in agriculture as compared to 2.6% growth rate registered since independence. The draft of the National Agricultural Policy, circulated for comments, has secured broad agreement from all the state government, central ministries, and agricultural universities. But its adoption by the government at this moment might create new problem for the Union Agriculture Ministry and the Planning Commission for its inclusion within the already launched ninth plan. Thus, under the present circumstances, the adoption of the draft agricultural policy by the government may take some time for making necessary adjustments with the agriculture component of the ninth plan. In short, the draft agricultural policy has offered detailed framework of policy initiative requirements for the agriculture sector on a long-term perspective. By introducing a favorable price trade regime, the policy has created a suitable environment for the sector. The thrust of the policy is to make the sector a viable and profitable for the nation. Thus, the new policy is expected to improve the quality of life in village and can reduce the gap in social welfare facilities between rural and urban areas and create sufficient gainful employment opportunities on a self-sustaining basis. Moreover, new agricultural policy proposed the accord the status of industry. The new agricultural policy resolution would bestow the same benefits to agriculture as were being enjoyed by the industry, but care should be taken to ensure that agriculturists were not subjected to the regulatory and tax collective machinery of the government. Thus, the draft agriculture policy was intended for the progress and welfare of farmers. The Agriculture Ministry has also given stress on drip irrigation projects so that agriculture did not suffer. Attention was also being paid to watershed management, soil conservation, environment, and other aspects which would benefit agriculture. Besides, the benefits of liberalization and technology transfer should reach to farmers. Thank you very much for listening. And if you do have any comment, please put in comment box. Please like and subscribe my channel, Professor Santosh Nandal.